So we need to make sure that our objects are ready to pick up. This is our pickup folder. Obviously we have our player background and all that in here. So I'm going to click on my game object to open up that folder, and I'm going to select all of those objects. And then I'm going to come over to my polygon collider if I haven't already, and I'm going to check as trigger. And I want to come up to the tag, and I want to add a tag if I haven't already, but here I have one called pickup. So now I've got that pickup in there and I have it tagged. So each of those, when I hit play and I make my player move, it will be able to be picked up once I add the coding in for it. So I'm going to drag, here's my coding. What I want you to do is I want you to come down to your Finder, and we're going to open up the Finder, and I want you to type in player controller, or whatever the name of your last player controller script was, not the one that you've just created, but the one that you have made. And that should have our void on trigger, our count text. If you find the correct one, it's also going to have your time text in it. So here we go, we have this one. And then I'm going to just right click on that one, and I'm going to click on open with, and I'm going to do a text edit. So when this opens up, I've got some things that I need to put into my script here. And coming up to the top, the first thing that I'm going to need is this using Unity Engine UI and using Unity Engine Scene Management. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it right in there. And then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to grab on to this private int count all the way to the text, time text left. I'm going to copy that, and right under public layer mask, what is ground? We're going to paste that in. So I'm using Command C to copy and Command V to paste. So coming into void start, again, I'm going to start with count and drag down. Copy that, Command C, and here's where I need to put that one. Paste that one. So under my void fixed update, I'm time left all the way down to that bracket. So I just have to close that function. Copy that. And we're going to come after this bracket right here, and we're going to hit enter, actually hit it twice, and paste that in. And then I'm going to scroll down. We've got our private void update that has its own, and we have our void flip. So now I want to do this void on trigger and this void set count all the way down to this bracket right here. I'm going to click and drag all of those, and I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to scroll down, and this is going to go after this transform.local char scale. There's one bracket. If you look here, one bracket. So I'm going to go by this bracket, hit return, and paste. So I'm just going to check my brackets to make sure they're good. So that one matches, that one matches. So you'll notice how it highlights whenever I put there down here, those brackets, and then that bracket right there, if I scroll all the way up, matches that one. So I have one extra bracket here. So I'm going to delete this one, and let's hit play. And our build has been successful. So we have added in our count text, we've added in our UI, our scene management, so that when we run out of time, that it will start over. So I need to come back into the game. We'll wait for that script to load. And now I'm going to go up to Create, UI, Text. And this is where I'm going to add in my count text. So that's the first thing that I need to do. And before I do much of anything else, I need to first off go into my canvas. And I need to come over and say, canvas scaler here, scale with screen size, so that way my text will stay wherever I need it to. I'm going to zoom out, and you can see this little part right here. It needs to actually come into the game. Let's bring our game view down here so we can see what's going on. I want it to go right there. So where our camera is starting, I want to put that text towards the top here. And then I want to change the font so that it is something that is readable. And I'm going to increase the font to maybe 30. Now my text does disappear, but if I come up using my rect tool, I can expand that box like that, and there's my text. So we call that count text. We can type in here count text. And then I'm going to duplicate this one. Right click on it, duplicate. And this is going to be my you win text. So coming in here, we're going to name this win text, just like we have in every other one. Come over here, win text. And I want to center that, and I'm going to make that, let's go with 50. So again, we're going to make the box bigger and then put it in the center. I'm going to come back to my count text again, and I am going to duplicate, and this one's going to be called my time text. And I'm going to take that text and I'm going to drag it over to the other side. I can change the color if I want. Maybe I want this one to be like a reddish color, and we're going to call this one time text and time text here also. So the last thing we need to do is we need to come and click on our player. We have all of this information down here on our player controller script. Right now we are missing our count text, our win text, and our time text. So if I click on my little picker here and I clicked on my time text, double click it, it pops in. I need to do the same thing for count and win. And that is all in there. Everything should be lined up and ready to go. So if I click on the play, I should see down in my bottom here that I get a score. And my time is counting down. I can move all around. Now one of the things is you can see I can fall off and keep falling and the game won't end. So I can come back in, and if I click on my background, I can add to my background right here. I'm actually going to zoom out. I can add a component, and I'm going to do a physics 2D. I'm going to do a box collider, and you can see it is this little box collider right here. I am going to offset that on the X this way, and then I'm going to change the size on my Y, and I'm going to stretch that out so that if I fall off or I hit that, I cannot fall off. So then I'm also going to copy this component, and I'm going to paste this component as a new one, and using my offset here, we're going to slide this all the way to the side. Now one of the things you can see right away is that I have all this blue space. I can do a couple things with this blue space. The first thing I can do is click on this main camera, and I can change my background color. So maybe I just make it all black. But I am still missing some of this here. So if I want to, I can take my background, which is this background and sky. I don't have to worry about all these platforms, but I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take my sky and my ground, holding my shift key down, and I'm going to duplicate those. And then I'm just going to slide those two things over. All right, let's try this again. We'll grab the move tool this time. And I'm going to slide those over. So now we have something that looks the same. And I probably need to do the same thing again on the other side. So there they are. And we're going to slide those all the way across so that it matches here. So now when I click play, number one, I can't go backwards. So I run into a wall there. If I wanted to, I could make it so I could go over there. But I'm going to start going, and you can see that I don't have any issues with. I can come down, but I also don't run out of background. Now what I could have some issues with jump in here. I keep getting stuck. So we can do a couple things. We can add a physics if we need to, so that we can. But if I can get my person, I'm going to click on my player here and then move them up here. This is where I might also run into a problem if I jump. Come down here. You can see how I come run out of sky. But since my background black isn't that bad, it's not a big deal. But that's another thing that you can work on if needed. And this is your physics down here. If you haven't done that, you're going to go to Create. You're going to come down to Physics Material 2D. And you're going to lower your friction all the way to 0. Once you've done that on your player and your planks where it says on your Polygon Collider 2D, it says material. There's none right now. I'm going to click the the picker, and I'm going to select that. So he should start to slide off as I go. Now you notice that I just did this while I was playing, so it's not going to work, but let's see what we can do if we come down here. You can see that he does end up sliding off instead of getting stuck. Well, there you go, stuck. Let's see if I can get him stuck again. Yep, there we go. So maybe if I put on the plank a little bit of friction there. So I ran out of time. And that is the beginning of your game. So the first thing you're going to do is create your standalone game. Once you have your standalone game made, then you're going to go and create your WebGL just as we have for the other games. And you're going to upload your WebGL to sharemygame.com and turn in both the screen recording and the WebGL.